The NBA opening day schedule and the next day after opening day, the schedule came out along with the Christmas Day schedule. So right now we're just going to do a quick overview on what opening day and the day after is going to look like so you guys know. So the preseason games are scheduled from December 11th to 19th. December 22nd is opening night. The Warriors versus Nets at 7 p.m. The Clippers versus Lakers at 10 p.m. This is all Eastern time. So what do you think about the opening night? Warriors versus Nets and Clippers versus Lakers.
We're starting on opening night.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the Clippers and the Nets are a great story. Kevin Durant facing his old team, Steph Curry versus Kyrie. It's always a great show when they play. So I think they did well on that. I think Clippers, Lakers, I think they did well on that. You know, Clippers and Lakers games are always fun to watch, always gritty. Plus, Montrezl Harrell and Jermichael Green just went to the Lakers. So, you know, and Marcus Morris just said, we're going to beat their, excuse my language, but we're going to beat their ass too. So that's a good story. I like that first day. That first day is good.
I think Jermichael Green's on the Nuggets.
Yo, when he went to the Nuggets, he's a sucker.
First of all, I just want to say I'm like a kid in a candy shop looking at this. I said to you guys the other day, basketball is my favorite sport, so to be getting it back after 60 days of not having it is like a blessing. And then also as a Net fan, to see my team, you know, regardless of what they're going to be this year, to see them having an opening day game, a Christmas game, be in the spotlight is awesome. I've never had that as a Net fan, so to be getting that for real, like, it's really cool. So that was a cool thing for me. Obviously, I love seeing the Nets taking on the Warriors, the KD storyline. I think that's great, and I think it's going to be a really good game to start the season. And then the second game, obviously, is going to be a great game, but the storyline, the NBA is just, it's the greatest television drama there is. The Lakers are going to be getting their rings in front of the Clippers on opening night. After the Clippers launched that whole advertising campaign last year, we don't want the spotlight, yada, yada, this, that, and the third. Well, you didn't want the spotlight. Now you get to watch the Lakers in the biggest spotlight there is, getting their rings with Montrezl Harrell, who you basically shoved out the door. There is nothing better on reality TV. Watch the NBA. It's better than any drama you can watch.
I think The Bachelorette is there. Now a lot of people like The Bachelorette. I never watched it though. Too. But I think this opening day is pretty good. I kind of wish that these games were on Christmas. I think they would have been better on Christmas. Yeah. But then, I mean, the Nets and Warriors, it's going to be a great game. Clippers and Lakers, it should be a great game. But I think the day after, December 23rd, they have some good games. The Bucks and the Celtics at 7 p.m. and the Mavericks versus Suns. We're going to get to see the new-look Suns the second day that the season starts. Against Luka, exactly. So I think that's going to be a really fun one. And I can't wait because this season – there's so many teams that are balanced and that can make a run at the playoffs. It's going to be really interesting to watch what happens this upcoming season.
Are teams allowing fans or not? It's just empty arena.
I think different cities have different rules, but probably no fans is probably the way they're going to go. So now we're going to go on to the Christmas schedule specifically. Okay, this is
I gotta go.
This is a schedule: the Pelicans versus the Heat. The Warriors versus the Bucks, the Nets versus the Celtics, the Mavericks versus the Lakers, and the Clippers versus the Nuggets. In your opinion, are you impressed or disappointed by this Christmas Day lineup?
This might be the worst lineup I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking about the worst. First of all, 12 p.m., it's a good game. Boston, Toronto, that's a pretty good game.
That's last year's, I think.
Oh, that's last year's. He said, okay, this is the one from this year.
No, because I was thinking of the lineup from this year. That's why I said it's the worst. And you going to show that?
All right, this is the one.
This is the worst lineup.
The one on the bottom.
Okay, I'm sorry. Pardon me. This guy got me looking like a fool. This is the worst Christmas Day lineup. This one right here is. Let me tell you why. The Heat should be switched out with Dallas. The Heat should be playing the Lakers on Christmas. The Warriors should be playing the Nets on Christmas. No, I lied. The Lakers should be playing the Clippers. The Heat should be playing Boston on Christmas. Why are the Heat playing the Pelicans? There's no storyline on that. It's essentially just a regular game.
It's just to have Zion in there.
Yeah, but like Zion could have played LeBron or something. He could have played Luka. It could have been the new stars facing. It could have been the Pelicans and the Mavericks. The Heat should be playing Boston. It should be an ECF rematch. The Warriors should be playing Nets, Kyrie and KD versus Steph Curry. Like I feel like the matchups. I feel like the only good storyline matchup is at 10:30, which the 3-1 comeback, Denver and the Clippers playing again. This lineup doesn't make sense to me.
What? There's no good storyline at 5 o'clock? Did you
I
miss
think
that one?
Nets versus
I think that's
Celtics.
more of a good game than a good storyline.
Kyrie Irving going back to Boston for the first time?
We already seen that.
No, he didn't play in Boston last year.
He didn't play in Boston last year?
So I think that'd be a good game. But okay, when Warriors versus Bucks, I don't think that was a good game. You know, what's the storyline in that? Giannis goes to the Warriors. He gets beat by the Warriors, and now Giannis demands a trade to go to
about it after the game.
So yeah, you know, I don't see a good storyline in that game. The Pelicans versus Heat, they just wanted to fit in Zion in there, and then but like the Heat might blow out the Pelicans at 12 p.m.
I don't think so.
And Clippers versus Nuggets, that's good. Mavericks versus Lakers, I guess that's okay because Luka versus LeBron, the present versus the future, I guess. But I agree. The Lakers should have faced the Clippers. Basically, opening night should have been Christmas. Nets versus Warriors, Clippers versus Lakers. And then you can have the Pelicans play, but maybe make the Pelicans play the Suns or something. Or Dallas would be a good one too. But for the Pelicans to just face the Heat could have faced a different team. I really don't like, or the Heat could have faced the Bucks. I would have rather the
Bucks. They could have did that too. They could have ran it back.
I love the Christmas Day schedule. I think there's 5 great basketball games. I think you guys aren't giving
all
the
of them are great.
You think that 12?
Yes, I don't think you're giving the Pelicans enough credit. Did you watch them last year down the stretch with Zion coming back? They were a different team. I think they could definitely compete with the Heat.
I think we watched Miami down the stretch last year too.
Yeah, 100%. Miami's a great team, but I think the Pelicans are a great team too. I think that Bucks and Warriors is another great game without Klay Thompson. I think the Bucks should win that game.
The Bucks legit could blow them out.
Respectfully, there are 2 teams on this list that did not make the playoffs.
No, the Bucks can legit blow the Warriors out that day.
I think for Christmas Day, it's different because in years past, you got to see teams play before you made the Christmas Day schedule.
But I feel like they still could have made this lineup better.
Yeah, I think you should have gave respect to teams that made the playoffs.
There's a reason for the 2 teams on there that didn't make the playoffs, though.
I feel like
Zion and Curry.
The Warriors didn't make the playoffs last year because Steph was hurt and Klay was hurt. They're getting Steph back. They just got James Wiseman.
What I read on a sports report?
Did Steph take them from 15 wins to 40? I don't think they would have done that.
No,
even with Steph,
they also got better all around.
That team was horrible.
They also got better all around.
No, I think what I read on some sports page that they're doing this because of ratings. They're just trying to get Steph and Zion in for just ratings. But I feel like you could have added Utah to play Denver again because they blew a 3-1 lead. That would have been a good storyline. Like you just could have thrown Toronto and Miami again, or Toronto and Boston again. They had a juggernaut series last year.
Yeah, but when
it could have been more games better than these.
Toronto and Utah are not box office.
Yeah. No.
And they
if you're looking at it from a box
both were there last year.
But I'm saying there's different games because, like I said, Clippers and Lakers should have been Christmas Day. Nets and Warriors should have been on this day too. I think Celtics,
you guys are really downplaying that Nets Celtics storyline. Like Boston hates Kyrie Irving. I don't know if you've been following.
I think the Warriors hate KD.
I disagree. I don't think that the Warriors have that much ill will towards the guy who got them 2 rings.
And KD hates Steve Kerr.
Maybe so, but I think you guys are downplaying that Boston-Brooklyn storyline. Like Celtics
I'm not
fans
downplaying
genuinely
it. I think it's
Kyrie
a good
Irving.
one.
I think it's a good game. I just feel like I'm more entertained to see Steph and Kyrie and KD than Kemba Walker and Kyrie and KD and Jason Tatum.
I'm excited to see Kyrie back in Boston. Even as taking me being a Net fan out of the equation, like that's just a good he's going to where the place he betrayed. Even last year when he sat out and he didn't even go to Boston, if I'm not mistaken, they still had signs. They were literally trashing him pre-game and he wasn't even there. So.
Now, yeah, I think I was disappointed in the schedule because I feel like they could have done better. I get the Zion wanting to have Zion on Christmas Day, but I don't think he necessarily deserved it, or the team deserved it, I should say. The team didn't deserve that spot, and that's just being honest. Another team should have been in that spot. But yeah, I mean, this was an okay lineup. I'm not going to, I wasn't impressed by it. Kind of disappointed. I guess by what you're saying, you're disappointed in it too, and you're impressed. You like it.
I just think it's 5 great basketball games.
You keep saying 5. I don't know if it's 5 great ones.
I think it's 3.
2.5.
So what games don't think the Pelicans Heat is going to be a good game, and then
I think
the
Heat
Warriors
blows them
Bucks?
out, and I think the Bucks can. I think Steph can make it a great game, but I legit think the Bucks can have an opportunity to really blow the Warriors out. Because I feel like
Jrue Holiday is going to be on Curry.
Yeah, and he's going to have to pass it off to Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins.
It's hard for me to say because I haven't seen the Warriors with the way they're going to be looking, but I think that it's going to be a good game. You look at the Warriors, they have the personnel to guard a guy like Giannis. Like they have the bodies to clog the paint. Draymond Green and James Wiseman.
Are you relying on a rookie?
No, I'm not relying on him, but it's not about a one-on-one matchup. It's about clogging the paint. So
I think those are the only two guys that can like,
one-on-one
go there.
Yeah,
though.
You're gonna
I don't think Draymond. He's 6'6".
Well, no, I'm not saying one-on-one matching up with him, but the whole thing is you throw one body at him and you clog the paint.
But I think Milwaukee can go 5 out this year.
Yeah, now they can definitely because he's gonna have to
Holiday,
guard Brook Lopez.
Brian Forbes, I think he should start. Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, they can.
He's
go
gonna
5
have
out
like
this year.
James has to guard Brook Lopez out there. He can shoot that ball.
Even so, I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
I think the games to get great at 5.
Yeah, the
Unless,
end
like,
3
I think
games
the
are
Warriors
the best
can
3
make it a
games
game,
by far.
but I
still think that those two are going to be very good games.